All right, good afternoon, everyone. Please give us a couple minutes. People are still tripping in. The next 3-4 minutes, we're going to get underway. So yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, Izuko is my name. I'll be moderating this session titled the interview mindset. Please, can everyone hear me before I go on? So I'm sure my mic is going correctly.
It was a bit unclear at first, but I think it's better now. Better.
All right. Yeah, welcome everybody to the Nexus for May, right? We learned about innovating Yeah, we learned about innovating beyond imagination in the last edition, which was in the month of April, first Saturday of April, just like this one. We learned about innovating beyond imagination, and we had a very wonderful speaker, Richard Okumola, give us a very nice presentation about the importance of innovation. And yeah, one thing I was able to take out from that is the main difference between innovation and plagiarism. He set out a clear-cut difference, and I'm sure we all learned a lot. We all learned a lot for that. So I'm also expecting that this edition would even be much more insightful. I believe we're all excited to be here. Right, so we're all excited to be here again. Today we'll be having 3 speakers talk about the techpreneur mindset. The techpreneur mindset. I'm really excited for that topic because anything that has preneur at the back always follows money, right? And yeah, because I like money a lot. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and I hope we all are. Please let's comment in the chat box so that we can communicate with each other on there. Are you excited to be here today? I want to see your questions and your answers in the chat box. All right. Thank you very much, Silvio. Today we'll be having 3 amazing speakers. We'll be having Victor Ukachukwu, we'll be having Mide Alonge, and our third speaker, Nathan Nwachukwu, is also going to be joining us for today's session. While they start speaking, it's important that we take note of our questions if we have any, and note them down. We can drop it in the chat box so that we don't forget as they are speaking. We have our questions down, because there'll be a question and answer session as well, where they get to answer any questions that we have. So we have Victor Kachu here already. Welcome. And yeah, briefly, we'll be introducing Victor to everybody. Okay. Kachu is product manager and a designer, recognized as one of the top 50 innovators for SDGs by the United Nations SDSN and featured in the Global Youth Solutions Report for 2020. Wow. He is also a 2021 News and Youth Global Fellow. He's the co-founder at Nepstar, an online community for young tech talents in Africa to access the network, mentorship, and resources they need to build their business and career. Wow, I don't know if you guys can feel it, but like I'm getting really excited to hear from Victor and all of the wonderful things going to be teaching us about the entrepreneur mindset. Like I said earlier, let's all ready to like take down our questions. Each speaker would have 30 minutes each. 20 minutes to present the topic to us all, and 10 minutes to answer a few questions, and then we move to the next speaker. Thank you very much, Victor, for joining, and yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ifunaya. I'm really glad to be here. Good day, everyone. I can see a lot of people here, so that means there's a very huge turnout. I'm really kind of glad for the opportunity PAADC has given me to speak. Last year, I think I was one of the judges for the competition. That's the PAADC 5. Savior, I can see you. Good evening. Yeah, so just like Ifnaya said, I am Victor, no long introductions. I'm just a product manager and a designer, and I am a co-founder at Nepstar. So today we're talking about the techpreneur mindset. So I just want to run you guys through a few things. Ifnaya, I don't know if I have, should I share my screen? Can I share my screen?
Oh, sure, you can share your screen. You'd be allowed to. You'll be made a co-host and be able to share your screen. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yes. So if you can see my screen, maybe you can just indicate. And if you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're speaking about the techpreneur mindset, which is really very important. And it's really going to be not just like a teaching, but it's really just going to be me sharing some experiences. I know we have some amazing speakers here to share some of their experiences as well. So it's just for us to follow through. I have some things I can share from my own experience that might help some of us here. So what we're going to be talking about in this time frame of 20 minutes is just this, right? We're going to be talking about who a techpreneur is. We're going to be talking about the techpreneur mindset and its applications, maybe some few extra tips before we move into the Q&A session, right? So let's quickly dive into it. So who am I? I'm an entrepreneur, a product manager, and a UI UX designer. I'm also a co-founder at Nepstar.io, where we are making it easier for young tech talents in Africa to access the guidance and support that they need for their career and business, right? I'm also an SDG advocate and also an innovator. So I've been working in the SDG space for quite some time now. Yeah, so apart from work, aside work, I love to swim. I love to game as well. So if you want me to teach you some skills, I think that's where I'm really good. So who is a techpreneur? So tech entrepreneurship is just really the combination of technology and entrepreneurship, right? So we already know who entrepreneurs are. These are risk takers, and these are people who really know how to spot opportunities and quickly commercialize those opportunities. So tech entrepreneurs are those subset of entrepreneurs that can tap into technology and transform minor opportunities into commercial realities. So what this really means is the ability to see into what is going on currently. And yeah, I think my internet. Okay, I think I'm back. Yeah, so these are people who know how to spot opportunities and see how they can apply technology to creating innovations in those opportunities. So they know how to use technology, in fact, to solve problems. Yes, so we must know that, yes, entrepreneurship is a combination of technology and entrepreneurship. So is it really going to be easy, or what does it have to take? What does it need? What are the requirements to be a good tech entrepreneur? I think from my own observations, tech entrepreneurs must have a good technical grasp of their products or the underlying technology involved. This is because for you to be a good tech entrepreneur, you must not be the one maybe writing all the codes like this guy in this picture, but you might have some developers on your team. You might have built a team, and you are the visionary behind it. But you have to understand how that technology works so that you know how to pattern your vision and how to move your product from point A to point B. So that's really what makes a good tech entrepreneur. You have to understand how technology works. You know, we are moving into the web 3.0, right? We started from the web 1.0, the web 2.0, the web 3.0. So the web 3.0 is talking more about decentralization of user information. So you have to understand, okay, yes, okay, that's really what it means. So if I'm going to build my product right now, if I'm going to start creating ideas, spotting opportunities, trying to solve this problem or that need, I need to know how these current technologies available now can really impact in that solution that I'm trying to provide to the world, right? So if you guys have any questions, please do well to drop it on the chat. Maybe when so you don't forget it. So when I'm done, I can take some of these questions and then we move. So let's really dive into the techpreneur mindset, right? What does this really mean? So I've been talking about entrepreneurship for some time now. I've been talking about innovation actually for some time now. I spoke recently at a gathering, a youth gathering like this, some African country. I think it was Zambia and Zimbabwe students as well, studying outside the country. And what they were talking about were similar things like this. And it was about innovation, how to unlock the innovative mindset. So I think everything concerning technology and innovation really starts from a mindset. It starts from a frame of mind. How do you think about these things before you even start gaining the practical hard skills to really execute, right? So being a tech entrepreneur is basically about a mindset, an attitude, an approach, right? A mental model, right? How do you think? It starts from how you think. What differentiates an entrepreneur from a non-entrepreneur is how they think. A non-entrepreneur is really, he wants to play it safe. They are really risk averse, right? They don't want to take those risks. They want to make sure they stay on the safer path. But an entrepreneur is able to take those risks because they know that if they should do these things well, they would rather fail or succeed. And failure in entrepreneurship is a learning process. So to develop this mindset, you want to reconsider something, right? Because I'm trying to make you guys understand that it's about the mind. If you can change your mind, you can become a better entrepreneur. Then if you're able to become a better entrepreneur, then apply technology to it. Then you are obviously a tech entrepreneur. That's as simple and as complex as that. So to develop this mindset, you want to do that is how
Sorry, Victor, your audio is kind of low.
Hi, Victor. We are not able to really hear you right now. I don't know if you could adjust your mic or something.
Can you hear me now? Is it better now? Better.
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Please go on.
Yes. So sorry about that. I think maybe the network must have disrupted the audio. Yes. So yes. So let me quickly go on. I don't know where you guys missed me from, but I was just talking about how developing the mindset really works. Right. The first thing you want to consider here is how you train your mind to spot new opportunities. How are you able to identify a particular need, a pain point in your environment? So you are someone that kind of commutes to school every day, right? You maybe you school at Unilag and you stay very close to the environment. So you move from your house to the school every day, but there are some challenges you spotted in the transportation means that you currently use. So you want to see, okay, how can I make that better? Is there an opportunity around there? You're someone that maybe likes eating out. You don't stay with your parents, so you like eating out, to stay in a hostel, and then you see that the food ordering services currently available are really below par, right? They don't meet the standards that are required to fit a very proper solution. So you want to say, okay, how can I quickly play in this space? How can I quickly kind of contribute to this? So that's how you kind of train your mind. You start thinking about it. So if you keep practicing this thought process, keep practicing to build your mind around identifying opportunities, then you would at the same time subconsciously start building your mindset around being a better entrepreneur. Then you are looking at how can you apply technology to that. Then also, how do you think about change? Are you resistant to change, right? Do you embrace change? Are you sure that when you start building out something and then you notice you get some new insights from the users, because you have to be solving things that are really relevant to the customer's problem, to the user's problem, to the people involved. If you yourself are a user, then it's better for you because you know where the problem is stemming out from. So how do you think about change? Are you willing to quickly pivot, kind of change direction once you already start building out a product for people to use? You also want to look at how will you approach problems and challenges? What is your problem solving capabilities? Like, how do you build on those capabilities? How do you really approach these problems? Right? So if you are able to start saying, okay, I think the best way to approach this problem is going through this particular route. This is the best strategy to use. Maybe I set up a team. I need to learn this particular skill. Then I need to make sure that I implement A, B, C to solving this problem. I need to learn about what other people have done so that I can tailor my own solutions to how they have done it and kind of improve on that, because there's nothing new under the sun. There's really no inventions. Most of these things are always innovations. You are innovating on something currently existing. So you need to build up your problem-solving capabilities. So you also need to look at, you need to rethink how you view and perceive failure, right? So most people kind of never launch out because of the fact that they are very scared of failing, right? So they don't start. And then they've wasted that idea or that opportunity. Someone else is going to quickly do it. So you need to look at how can I change my mindset about failure?
so that I am able and willing to always work towards achieving that goal or solving that particular pain point for that customer segment, right? So this whole thing, these 4 items and more, possibly more, can help you redefine and kind of shape your entrepreneurship mindset. Okay. So really, I've said a lot of things. It's not going to be easy, right? It's going to be really, really challenging. Me, myself, kind of building up Nepstar and building some other startups and products is really never going to be easy, right? You are going to have a lot of hitches here and there, a lot of barriers. But your goal is, how can you learn in the process, right? How can you learn and develop in the process? So I'm checking my time to make sure I'm still on time, okay? So now, what are the applications of this techpreneur mindset, right? I think it is applicable to both the business and career scene. I know most of us at PAADC, we are looking at how PAADC is really trying to reshape how people kind of execute on student-led initiatives and startups and ideas and products, right? That's really nice, but it's also applicable in the career scene. You know, these days, if you look at a lot of job descriptions, you know, you see where the employer is asking about that the candidates must have some kind of entrepreneurial mindset. They must have maybe worked in a startup before, or maybe currently running a startup, because they need a lot of entrepreneurs in their businesses these days. These entrepreneurs are able to spark innovations that is going to take the company from point A to point B, right? I've applied to so many roles myself, and even when I'm trying to advise most of these companies, I see the kind of emphasis they place on the entrepreneurship mindset, right? So talk about tech companies now. So tech companies are looking for techpreneurs that have such a mindset and are able to change a lot of things radically and innovate on them. So another application looking at that is that most problems in the world can be solved using tech, right? And that's really true. Even the SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, are being currently advanced using tech innovations, right? So you see a lot of people creating kind of innovations, tech innovations to solve a lot of problems. And you see most of these people that have revolutionized the industries, Uber, trying to revolutionize the cab hailing service, Kobo 360, talking about logistics. A lot of platforms are really using technology to kind of change how we do things and how we interact with ourselves and the environment. In Africa as well, right, there are numerous problems to be solved. So I think there's an advantage for you guys, there's an advantage for me, right? Because we are Africans and there are numerous problems to solve. If you look from the left to the right, you kind of spot problems immediately, right? And then such problems can be solved leveraging technology, right? You look at the education sector, how about we try to provide more quality education, more solutions that kind of improve the education standard, cheaper power, more jobs, affordable healthcare, and food tech. Now, if you look at what PAADC is doing by helping student-led enterprises, they are trying to contribute to the more jobs sector, because once they are able to help spot out these innovative students, these innovative startups, they are empowering them to scale their businesses. And once they scale these businesses in turn are helping to provide more jobs once they become a little more scalable and sustainable. So they are helping to also create more jobs and also improve the economy of the country. So those are the applications. So you yourself can go back and start thinking, okay, how can I apply this mindset? How can I start building up this mindset to be able to spot these opportunities that are needs and problems that are around me so that I can quickly start innovating on them? So how can you get started today, right? Build a team, work on your problem-solving skills, and decide on an execution strategy. It's all about doing at the end of the day. So if you're not able to execute, then you're just going to plan. Then there's no execution, right? Execution beats everything, right? So building a team, look for people that have complementary skills with you. Work on your problem-solving skills. You need to acquire some skills. you might not necessarily be programming, right? You can learn tech skills. There are kind of a lot of sources you can learn from. You can also get a mentor, right? In my product management career, I've been privileged to have access to a mentor. I was able to be mentored by a product manager at Walmart, right? So this really helped me kind of increase my product management experience and applications, right? So you can get a mentor today so that you, in programming, in product management, in all these skills that are really important for building yourself up as a tech entrepreneur. Then you need to also work on an execution strategy. How are you going to go to the market? How are you going to quickly put it out there for users to use? Now, some extra tips, right? Because you might be wondering, okay, so how would I need to build myself up to become a better techpreneur, right? And try to apply this mindset. So currently successful techpreneurs around the world share certain traits and observe certain best practices. And I have a few friends in my network that really, I see all these traits in them, right? They are just scaling new heights day after day, right? So most of them are persistent. They don't give up. Like, they are always on it, trying to improve themselves every single day. A lot of them are tech savvy. They understand how technology works, right? I myself, trying to build my businesses, I'm a product manager, right? I've also dived into UI UX because as a product manager, you're managing products, you're trying to identify needs of users and also deliver effective solution that's going to solve those problems for those users. Then I also wanted to dive into UI UX to understand how the user experience is going to be with my product. Then aside from that, I started picking up development, that's programming skills, just so I understand, okay, how can I actually build out some solutions that I conceive, right? Or how do I understand how I needed to understand how the frameworks really works, how to connect the dots within the technologies that I was using or I was building with my team. So next, you have to be intuitive. Steve Jobs calls it the gut feeling, right? You need to know how to tap into your gut feeling. There's something telling you that you need to make this move, you need to execute on this idea, build out this project. So that's your intuition telling you that. So trust your intuition, right? Even as you back it up with data, you need to go and get data from the marketplace or from the users so that you are able to back up whatever you are thinking, whatever you're feeling about your product with solid data. You have to also believe in your product. If you don't believe in your product, then no one else will. You need to be able to believe in your product because you are the first evangelist of your product, right? See, in the early days, Steve Jobs was always moving around talking about Apple and the capabilities. You also need to improve your communication skills, right? As a tech entrepreneur, you have to be able to communicate. If you're the developer, fine. You have to communicate the technologies and how they are going to impact. If you're the non-technical co-founder, right, and you still want to leverage on your techpreneur mindset, you have to communicate with them and say, okay, I understand you guys are the ones building out this thing, but I think this is how I want it to be. What are the frameworks that we can implement and how feasible is it going to be? You also need to be resilient with flexibility. So resilience means the act of always, you keep doing and you keep improving. It's almost like persistence is continuity. Resilience is you never give up. But you are flexible. So you are able to know when you're going to pivot or persevere, right? When you're going to change direction or if you're going to continue on that same path. Then winging it, right? So as a tech entrepreneur, you have to know how to wing it sometimes. You don't necessarily need to plan for the whole day because these plans that you are, someone said recently that most plans that you make are always tested once you go to the battlefield. Imagine two countries fighting, right? And they've already made some plans. What if they go to the battlefield and then the opponent is already bringing a different plan that counters those plans? They have to quickly iterate their stance or change their game plan immediately. So sometimes you have to wing it. You have to just do it as it goes, right? Just go to the field and rough it up. Then you have to work with the right team, people that have complementary skills with you. You have product management skills. Find a developer, find a UI UX guy, find someone else that can complement your skills. Find someone that, if you are an execution focused person, find a visionary. Find someone that sees the big picture, and you guys will be able to work very well. Then quality, place a premium on quality. Okay, my time. Okay. So I'm already on the last slide. So place a premium on quality so that you can release quality products at the right time. Then the last one is for you to work. Thank you very much for listening. So it's question time.
Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much for that. I'm particularly like very, happy. I learned a lot from your presentation, right? I learned about, having to seek for the pinpoint in our environment. And I think that's very important because before even like thinking of what you want to bring to the market as a techpreneur, you want to know what the market wants, what people actually need of to be sure that, yeah, what you're even bringing to in the first place would make impact to the world and to the SDG goals that we even have in place. One thing I wanted to like ask though from the question from is techpreneurship and the regular entrepreneurship. Which would you think is more challenging? Because from your presentation, there was like a lot of things you had to do to put into like techpreneurship. So I wanted to know, is like the regular going into a business and just selling, regular entrepreneurship and techpreneurship, which is more challenging? I can't hear you, Victor. I don't know if your mic is off. Hi, Victor, please, are you still with us?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you quite clearly now.
Okay. Sorry about my mic. I'm really not in a place of work, so I just had to be here to quickly. So I had to quickly use someone else's get on this call. Okay, so yes. So what I'll really say about what you asked. Can you still hear me, please? Hello, Ifunaya,
It's quite faint. I'm struggling to hear you. It's quite okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Please go on. Thank you.
Okay. How about now?
Yes, it is clear now. Thank you very much.
I apologize. So, really, from my point of view, I think the two of them are actually challenging. But the techpreneurship has an kind of an added challenge of you being able to understand how technology works. So, if you are really someone that is technology savvy, you really want to, you have the vibe and the interest in understanding how technology works. I think techpreneurship is really going to be the same is really going to be seamless for you in that sense, right? But the entrepreneurship in as a whole is really a challenging space. Does that answer the question? Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Victor, for the presentation. Thank you again. Anyone else has a question? Please, let's put it in the chat box. At the end of the session, we'll take all questions at once. Thank you so much, Victor, for the session once again. It was really insightful, right? So we're moving on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Mide Alongi. And I'll briefly be introducing Mide to us so we know who our speaker is.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Welcome, Mide. Thank you very much for joining us again this session. Mide Alonge is presently the manager at Endeavor Nigeria. As founder of Innovation Corner and an entrepreneurship enthusiast, he also runs his own seed and series and advisory company. He's worked with a number of renowned projects with the Aliko Dangote Foundation, Microsoft, UK Space Agency, GSK, Stanbic IBTC, Village Capital, Angel Hack, and a number of others. There's a lot of exciting things, and I'm sure there's also a lot of things to learn from Mide. So please, let's, like I said earlier, get our questions ready. We've heard about him and what he does. And yeah, Mide, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi everyone. No, so that was a really great presentation. I don't have a presentation, so I wanted this to just be an interactive session. But I would just generally say, just from my own experience, before moving back to Nigeria, I used to work with the Harvard Innovation Lab, and I was a student when I first started there, so I was once in you guys' shoes, and I would say that seeing how students started businesses while they were still taking their courses was one of the things that made me believe that youth had a strong progress to success.
I think Mide might have left this call. Maybe he's having some sort of internet issues. We'll just wait on for him to join back. Yeah, but before he does, I think let's all like try to share what we've learned so far from the session, what we think about entrepreneurship mindset, and how has it, like what we've heard so far, how has it influenced us in what we think. Please, you can share in the chat box.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry.
All right, Mide is back with us now. Yes, we can hear you.
No, sorry for that. No, I was just saying I was once in you guys' shoes, so I totally understand what it is to think about entrepreneurship and innovation and technology from a very early stage. And I will just say that the earlier you start, if you have a passion for it, the better, because this journey is a long one, it's a tough one, and you will make mistakes. You probably will start businesses that will fail. So the earlier you start, the earlier you fail, and then the more you can reiterate, and you can then eventually, because what eventually happens is you start up with an idea, you test it out, but as you continue to sort of go into the market, develop a product, you start to see where the flaws are. You either change the model of the business, or you just completely change the business. But you won't know until you sort of just keep starting. But if and I wanted this to be an interactive session, and that's what I was doing. So I guess I'm just waiting for whatever questions you guys have.
Good afternoon, Mide. Thank you for taking this time. I'm Ade. Yeah, definitely I would like for this to be a very interactive session. So I'll start off by asking something I feel like has been on my mind a lot recently. And it's this common thing in the tech space or business in general, which alludes to people say plan, but don't over plan. Now it's very polarizing because on one hand you have it as you not planning at all and plunging into something head first. You don't know what lies for you on the other side. And at the other hand, you have you overthinking and over planning and eventually not getting anything done in the long run. So what I would like to know is how that kind of ties in generally to the tech space and just a general view of it. I think people will gain one or two things from that.
So, look, what I would say is this, right? So a little bit about me, right? So I started off in engineering, right? So I studied civil engineering in my undergrad. I did my first master's in engineering and technology management before I went to Harvard for my business degree, my second master's. And what I would tell you just even from that journey is that when you overthink things, you start to realize that you're not growing. So the entrepreneurship journey is basically a growing journey. And what that means is that you reflect back on where you were even as a student a few years ago, let's say your year one, you realize that how much you've learned over the past few years. What you realize is that when you keep going on the entrepreneurship journey, you start to realize that you come up with better ideas, but even more importantly, better solutions to the problems that you see. So there's two ways to think about it. One, you come up with a business to make money, you probably won't be successful at it. But the thing is that if you come up with a business to solve a problem, you will make money because it means that there are people that are demanding that service that you're coming up with. And that's really the way to think about it. If you come up with a business that is solving a key problem, people would be willing to support it from an investor perspective. People would be willing to pay for it from a customer perspective. And at the end of the day, you're also making an impact. Let's be very honest. Like Nigeria and Africa and the continent is one that still has a lot of opportunities, right? I remember when I was in Boston, a lot of the things that students were working on were things like, robotics, things around like even in the biology space, it was around like, figuring out how to make people live longer, right? Whereas in Nigeria and Africa, we're still trying to figure out how to eat, right? So you start to realize that even just your environments that you're in shapes the types of solutions you come up. And what you start to realize is that even within Nigeria, there's just so many problems. So what I would also add to that is ensure that whatever problem you're trying to solve, you are the best person to solve it. Right? Oftentimes you hear entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I have an idea, but I don't tell anybody about it." When you tell people, actually, the more real it is. A lot of times people hide behind not telling people. If you tell people what ideas you have, what that tells you is that it's one that you feel obligated to solve. But even more importantly, you hate the problems with it. So oftentimes people already decided the idea that they want to come up with, the solution. And then oftentimes whenever you even probe and tell them the flaws in it, they defend it. And to be very honest, you don't know it all. And people would always probe on whatever ideas or business ideas that you have. So it's only smart that you listen to what people are saying and you actually wait for them to sort of tell them the flaws in it so that you can actually reiterate it. Because at the end of the day, you're not building the solution for yourself, you're building it for people. So if you want to build it for telling you, this is a challenge, then you need to sort of listen to it so that you can actually make it a better product or a service, whatever the case it is.
Oh, okay. I actually like that. It's really taking this impact-driven approach and the fact that, the community is first. I think I've heard something along the lines of, kind of if you serve people, then they will serve you in terms of buying into your idea or product or service, whatever it is. this actually now, pushes me to ask, like you said, there are a lot of problems. As much as it's not really nice to say, there are a lot of problems that are out there, especially in Nigeria. So with that amount of problems, comes saturation of ideas in, different sectors per se. You have a saturation of ideas in recycling, saturation of ideas in healthcare, etc., etc. A lot of people are trying to do a similar thing. So this brings me to ask, how exactly does, someone, an undergraduate student like myself, find their footing in this saturated space?
I hear that a lot, right? And it's funny you mentioned recycling and healthcare, right? I actually don't think this space is saturated yet. I think when you talk of saturated, like more even the fintech space, right? It's very highly saturated. But what I would say is this, right? I mean, if you look at Nigeria and if you look at even the GDP of Nigeria and you look at the GDP of the US, you start to realize that it's only because we live in Nigeria that we believe that the four corners of what we see is where we're going to. But what you start to realize is that when you think about the market in a more global perspective, you start to realize that nothing is saturated yet. So if the African continent is your market, then it's not saturated. If Lagos is your market, then you can say saturated, right? But you can't think about scalability from a one market perspective. But you have to think about it. A lot of technology innovations are coming out of Lagos, but there's still a huge similar type of Lagosians in Congo, in Ghana, in Kenya, in Rwanda. And so what that makes you realize is that we are on the path to saturation, but we're not there yet. As a student, what I would say is this. I think Victor mentioned this earlier, it's just around if you start to surround yourself with the right type of people, whether it's mentors, especially mentors, you can start to sort of learn and latch onto their networks, especially because what you want is support. A lot of young people and students have great ideas, but a lot of times what they don't have is the resources to launch their ideas. And so the way you get those resources is if you talk to people that are already in the market. And I say in the market in the sense of, let's say, they already, maybe they're already running a technology company or they're running their own business, whatever the case it is, or they're working for one. Get tips on, what are the sort of programs I can get into that can help me launch this idea. There's so many programs that exist in Lagos, in Nigeria, and even on the continent for idea stage businesses. I would advise every student that likes entrepreneurship that's into that to think about getting into one of those programs and launching their ideas. 1, 2. Also, if you have an idea you strongly believe you are the best person to solve, and I keep saying that because a lot of times when it's an idea stage business, whoever is going to believe in you to give you money is only believing in you because of the industry aspect. There's no product, right? So they need to believe you as a person, and you need to be the best person to do it. If you have that, ensure that you are confident enough to put your own money to even create an MVP of what the product is. Whether it's from family, and most of the time, family and friends are usually the best place to get it. Whatever it is, right? If you can't put your money where your mouth is, it's very hard to convince somebody else to give you money. Very, very hard. So what else is, as students, try and get into idea stage incubators. Most of the time they work, to be honest. Sometimes, to be honest, they really don't work a lot of the times as well. But at least what that gets you is it gets you into the entrepreneurship mindset. It lets you actually turn your idea into an actual business. And 3, it puts you into the right network of people with the potential co-founders.
Okay. Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that, especially the fact about the whole idea incubation. Definitely agree. network. I think it's really vital. Also, that sort of brings me to other people, I've generally, spoken to in this space. They're always kind of the opinion that even if you go for some of, these programs, let's say even PAADC, for example, that what one really told me that really caught on to me was that it's not even as much as the seed funding as it is the validation and showcase of that idea. Because they feel like if they can get onto some of these platforms and really like show quote unquote the world the idea, and you have top industry people to validate it and all that, that's in itself is quite invaluable. This actually pushes me just a bit into what you said about mentors, and it's actually quite funny because there was this running debate a couple of weeks back as regards mentors, really centering around the fact of don't meet your heroes, quote unquote. So a lot of people, find it hard to get access to mentors. And one issue I feel is part of the problem is that a lot of people are expecting too much from a particular mentor. Like, I feel like one person cannot mentor you in everything, every aspect, whether it's your religious aspect, business-wise, academic, and all of that. So what I would like to ask you is how exactly can we, I don't want to say lower expectations, but kind of streamline it to what exactly we want from a mentor, and how would that help us identify mentors generally?
Yeah, so mentorship is key. But yeah, you're right. You have to be very careful on who you select as your mentor. There's a lot of people that speak too much English on entrepreneurship nowadays. And not everybody that speaks English about entrepreneurship knows what they're saying. But the fact is that there are people, because of the technological advancements that are happening and the trend that's happening, it's sexy to be in technology, to be in entrepreneurship. What I would say is this: first of all, everyone should have a mentor, right? Whether it's a career mentor, a personal mentor, whatever it is that you want to do, right? Because what you learn from mentors is you learn the paths that you've gone through, the mistakes that they've made, and they can sort of advise you. That's one. Two is, in terms of selecting who to pick, just ensure that they have the right sort of background, I would say. I don't mean background because they've done, like they've run one company, right? Or they've worked at one position in a certain company. Ensure that their values as individuals also align with you. Because a lot of times what you want to ensure is that even as individuals, that you and your mentor have the same values, same ethics, so that whenever he or she is giving you advice, it aligns with the things that you believe in. In terms of managing expectations, look, I think you should have multiple mentors, right? Not everyone is an expert in everything. If there is someone that you believe has, for example, let's say you are into programming and you want to have a technology strong mentor, pick people that you admire. Not only you admire them because of sort of things they've built, because who they are as individuals, right? How aspirational they are. How do they, are the people around them, people say good things about them? Do they lead the people around? Do they mentor the people around them, right? Because everybody wants to be a mentor as well. Everyone is a good mentor. Not everyone's really good at it as well. So just be cautious. I guess that's what I would say, right? Don't think, just speak to people before asking them to be their mentors. Not because you see their bio in one place and you go, this person will be great. So at Endeavor, for example, we have advisory boards, and in our portfolio we have Flutterwave, Haga, Migo, Trade Depot, Cover 360, Filmhouse, and a few other people. And even when people want to select advisory board members, so we help them create advisory board members to help them sort of, advise on their businesses and their challenges. We always say, look, before you sort of, see someone's bio and you say you would like to be on your advisory board, have a chat with the person for even 30 minutes. Speak to the person and see if, they have what you're looking for. if they inspire you, and more importantly, if you think you can build a long-term relationship. The whole point about mentorship is really not just for one particular challenge, but it's actually for a long time, because you want to allow the person to follow your life journey, your career journey, your product journey, your entrepreneurship journey. So that's what I would say. Always have a chat, and then trust me. Anybody you ask to be a mentor will probably say yes. So don't rush it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. That was actually very encouraging, because both of us are actually intimidated when we see these bios and profiles and like,
Trust me, anybody you ask will probably say yes. So don't worry. Everybody wants to be in.
That's actually very encouraging. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to pass it over to Ifunaya. I think she has one or two things to ask.
All right. Thank you so much, Mide, for that. Yeah, and about the mentorship as well. Like Ade said, it's sometimes it may be quite intimidating to meet up somebody and ask, because what if this person says no? What if this person says your idea does not reach anywhere? I can't mentor you, stuff like that. But it's quite encouraging that, you know, people in the tech space are open to mentoring young students like ourselves. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that. One thing I wanted to ask you is a bit of a personal question.
Sure.
I mean, from what we've learned about you, we see that you are quite a number of, tech tech stuff, right? You're into a number of things. You've worked in a number of places. You're a manager at Endeavor Nigeria. What would you say was your own personal, say, defining point that you can go into tech, or like you should go into tech? What was like your own motivation to go into tech? For some of us that are aspiring to be like.
It's breaking up a bit. Did you say what was my motivation for going into tech? Is that what you said? What was my motivation for going into tech?
Yes. That's the summary of my question. What was your motivation from the start for you want to go to tech?
So mine is a bit funny and different. Because like I said, I started off in engineering, right? So I started off in science. I went into civil engineering because I wanted to build things and see it. So I felt like there were some parts of engineering that if you do it, it will take maybe another 50 years before you sort of see the impact. But I feel like civil engineering, if they say we're building a bridge, you know that maybe it take 6 months to build this bridge. Once you build the bridge, I can drive past it every day, right? When I'm taking my family home, I can sit and see this bridge and say I built this bridge, right? So that's why I went into engineering, right? Now I transitioned to entrepreneurship in tech simply because, first of all, I didn't know I was going to, but it happened when I was doing my second master's at Harvard. What happened was that we were part of a course, and they just said that they'll give everybody $5,000 to form teams together, and 3-4 people form teams, and whichever team in the class comes up with the best idea, get the sort of grant funding to sort of launch the business. That's really how it happened for me. But more importantly, when I finished from that and I started working with the Harvard Innovation Lab, Harvard Innovation Lab is just another incubator, similar to some of the ones that are happening here in Nigeria. And what it was that it was similar to what you guys are actually doing at PAADC is giving funding and resources to students that come up with great ideas and supporting them to sort of launch their businesses. And that's really what it was for me. So once I sort of finished that course, that class, and I started working on Harvard Innovation, and I started seeing how 17, 18, 20-year-olds were coming up with brilliant ideas because they were being funded. Like, it sort of showed me that, look, the youths, first of all, are key to coming up to solving their own problems. But even more importantly, if you give them the right enabling environment, give them the right resources and funding, they can solve their own problems. And so for me, that's sort of where that transition happened. So I started working with different student-led businesses at the incubation lab And I started to see how, I mean, to be fair, I believe, in all honesty, Americans have run out of problems to solve. So now they're solving all kind of things, right? Because some of the things that, so for example, one of the companies I was working with was trying to create a Tinder for restaurants, right? Where you swipe, where it will recommend restaurants you can go to, that you would meet people that have the same type of I guess personality as you. I mean, in the grand scheme of world problems, I don't think that's what people should be trying to solve. But the point is that they have a cycle of supporting student-led businesses that at some point what you start to see is every economy is solves the problems that it deems fit. In Nigeria and in Africa, there's bigger problems than that, right? So we're still trying to get the unbanked, the banked. We're still trying to improve our GDP. We're still trying to improve the daily life of people where there's light. How do we create, in a country where there's no light, we're doing like clean tech, right? And sustainable energy, with like solar panels and things like that. So there's still bigger problems. And so for me, that transition for me on sort of how I sort of decided to go, because I started seeing students who were just like me when I was in my early 20s, who were solving brilliant problems, and they were making a shit ton of money. They were making a lot of money simply because they were supported. And so for me, I felt like if Nigerians and Africans were funded and they were supported, they could be key to solving their own problems. Which is why I also moved back to Nigeria so that I could have more impactful career. Because if you think about it, there's still so many problems to be solved in Nigeria and in Africa that you can be part of something bigger than yourself. When you look at the likes of Flutterwave and how much money they make, a lot of people say that what they are doing, what these guys that are doing really good, is beyond themselves at this point, right? Paystack getting acquired is beyond Paystack. It means that next students at Unila can think about starting a business, and he can also know that he can eventually be acquired one day. So those success stories help every Nigerian and every African. And I think that's why we need to continue to sort of keep pushing each person to be more successful, because there can never be too many entrepreneurs. There can never be too many businesses. There can never be too many tech businesses. And if people start thinking that, that's a big problem, because there's so many problems to be solved. It's just so much money.
Thank you so much, Mide, for that. Yeah, I agree that there are still many problems, and it's important that we have the support system in different aspects, right? Similar to what we do at PAADC, try to like help to guide you graduates to contact. So much, guys, you ready from me, giving us tips and the advice of going to check and what you likely is, and the people to be speaking to improve your idea, however small it is. It can always be something big and something. These ideas don't stop when they get managed and changed and implemented by mentors, by people to speak to. So thank you so much, Mide, for that. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please drop it in the chat box. We'll get it through to we would like to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Nathan Nwachukwu. Right, it's very exciting to meet Nathan Nwachukwu. I'll be introducing him right about now. Yeah, Nathan is on the call. Welcome, Nathan, to the session.
Yeah, hi. Hi.
Who is not only a remarkable
Sorry. Hi, Nathan. I think Ifna is having a bit of network issues here and there. She kept cracking a bit, but I'll just kind of take over a bit. All right, so Nathan is quote unquote, this was not my saying, but is quote unquote the poster boy of the Godwin Foundation because his repertoire is simply amazing. At just 19, the amount of things he has done is simply thrilling. Coming off of leaving school in Canada and starting up class, the quote unquote Shopify for online learning. I would leave him to kind of explain a bit around that. And just like today's session, this would be interactive as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing everything that you have to say, Nathan. So yeah, over to you.
Yeah, awesome. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so thanks a lot for introducing me. I also don't have anything to kind of share in terms of slides and all that. So this is just going to be more of me telling my story and how techpreneur mindset, has helped me so far. Yeah, so before I start, to be honest, I never knew there was anything called techpreneur mindset. I just heard that word for the first time in this event. So I think first things first, most of all these words and all that, they are just different jargons, and the main thing you should really just be focused on just having the right mindset, to solving big problems, no matter what you want to call it. So okay, so let me just start with my story first of all. So I'm Nathan, of course. I'm a 19-year-old software engineer, co-founder and CEO of Class, and I got into tech actually when I was 15. So before 15, I was just like a regular dude. I didn't even know there was any tech ecosystem, whether here in Nigeria or in Africa and all that, Although I was a huge nerd, so I wanted to become like a physics professor. But when I was 15, that time I was still in high school, in SS2 actually. I had like a tragic accident that made me blind in my right eye, and I was out of school for 5 months. So during that time, rushing from different hospitals, surgeries here and there, I got really bored. And I was looking for something to kind of keep myself busy, something that I could also do that can bring in some few bucks, So that was actually when the first idea for Class came in because I wanted to teach physics online. So as I said before, I'm a huge physics nerd, but I didn't want to use like Udemy and the rest, like to do video courses or recorded courses because I didn't have a good laptop or camera to shoot a video, and I definitely didn't know how to edit that video, even though I was able to shoot it. So I was looking for, okay, can I host a live session? And I couldn't find any platform that made it easy for me to host live classes at scale. And that was basically when the first idea came in. So at first I was like, okay, can I build a live learning platform for visually and blind, for blind and visually impaired people, And that was basically the idea for Class for a really long time. So I didn't build it then until 2020, when I graduated from high school. The pandemic hit, and that was when I realized, like, oh shit, this could be huge. There's definitely a really huge market here, especially with the success of Zoom in the online meetings and the success of hopping in virtual events, I was like, okay, life learning can be a really, really big market here. And I also ditched the plan of, okay, I'm just going to build for blind and visually impaired people. I tried to build more of a life learning platform for everyone, But still, again, I didn't start building, like get serious with building anything until last year. When I was like, I finally was able to get a team, and I was just in the right mindset. So 2020, I got admission, to study computer science in Caltech University in Canada. But I was able to convince my mom to let me stay back for like a gap year and work on and just figure out what I want to do with my life, And that was when I basically learned how to code. I learned a lot in business. I did a lot of networking to kind of reach some of these top guys in the ecosystem, I'm Shola from Paystack, Tola from Split, and those kind of guys, And I got really serious with everything. So within that last 3 months of my gap year coming to an end, that's when I actually started building class. We got significant amount of progress, in terms of the product and all that. But without having one single customer, I made the rather stupid decision at the time to drop out, because I really believed in the mission. I believe that this is going to be something that is going to be really, really big one day, and I'm not ready to go to any university and just kind of waste my life when I know that this is like a one-time, a once in a lifetime opportunity that I have right now. And it was really after that, because I actually dropped out January this year, and 3 weeks later, things just got started happening. We launched the first version of class, got a lot of traction. We had about 2,500 creators that signed up on the wait list. We started building the second version of class, which is one that is actually live right now. And in this one, we built everything, like the full infrastructure, and launched that in March. That same March, we also raised $130,000 in angel, an angel round of $130,000 from top investors like Tola, NAD, and some other big VCs. And currently, I can't say the exact numbers, but we have like tens of thousands of active users using class from 80 plus countries to create and host classes. Yeah, so basically what I'm just trying to just say is that when I started, I didn't really know anything about any techpreneur mindset. I know that I just wanted to just build stuff. I wanted to just change things, change the way things are done, impact lives, change the game. And one of the things that really, really helped me early on was just getting started. I think it was either the first speaker or second speaker, that was talking about over planning, and I think that is really one of the things that people do a lot. People kind of over plan a whole lot, and that was one of the things that really helped me to save time. Because if I was starting to kind of over plan, like, okay, this technology that we're building now, do I even have the skills? Okay, how am I going to get like the investors? How would I do this? How would I do that? Till today, class will never be launched, because even looking at it right now, like sometimes I actually feel like I'm way over my head right now, like what the hell am I doing, So that fear can always come in. Something else that I think has really helped me, which I think is severely underrated, is LinkedIn. People really underestimate just how powerful LinkedIn can be. And I think that is the number one tool, if you really want to get serious, with your tech career and all that. You can really build a strong network there. Every single person I know right now, I met them on LinkedIn, all my investors, or my entire team, even partners, they were all on LinkedIn, and it has really helped me a whole lot. Most times people just join LinkedIn and they're just looking at posts, or when you're sending messages, you just send like a whole bunch and you get lost. But there is actually a certain way you're meant to use LinkedIn that can help you a lot. One of those ways is learning the art of cold messaging. So first of all, never send a cold message to email. Trust me, nobody will ever read that. Even me, I don't read cold messages to email. The best way is to contact, like whether they are mentors or partners or whatever, contact them through LinkedIn and keep it short. It should never be beyond like 4 lines or at the worst 5 lines. Then something else that I feel helped me along the way was blocking out the noise. So this is something that I think a lot of, especially young guys, they fall into this trap. When you're starting in tech, you want to attend all the events, you want to attend all the conferences and all that. I've never been to a physical conference before, and I think this one I'm in right now is actually one of my first in a long time, in years. This is actually the first virtual events that I'm attending in years. So when you're starting out, I think the best thing really is to block out the noise. Trust me, most of all these stuff are just they are really unnecessary. If you're starting a tech startup where it's more focused around the product, the best thing to do is just to get your hands dirty, put your head down, and build the product. Don't look at don't try to, will I say, attend every single event that is out there, and just all those other unnecessary stuff is not needed when you're starting out. The second thing also, is to really understand what you're building and the market you're entering into. So again, right now, there's a Web3 hype, crypto hype, and all that. I can assure you that 90% of the people in Nigeria that shout Web3 everywhere, they don't know what the hell is Web3. Like if you sit them down right now, ask them what is Web3, most of them wouldn't be able to explain one single thing, because they just want to follow the crowd. And the worst thing you can actually ever do is to follow the current thing, to go and follow the current thing. You won't it will actually be a lot harder for you to even break to even break out in an overhyped market or an overcrowded market and all that. So one of the best things is to first of all solve a problem that you personally resonate with. Like for me now, I started building class, because I wanted a platform that made life learning easy and scalable. I wanted to be able to deliver engaging live classes from anywhere in the world at scale. And as easy as that sounds, like how something that as easy as that sounds, it sounds something that you'll be thinking like that should have been solved already. It sounds like such an obvious problem to solve. You'll be surprised how many platforms out there just try to overcomplicate things, and from building something that I would need, it kept on just escalating and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now I'm now seeing myself like leading a VC-funded, fast-growing tech startup now, So that is the best way to actually get started, and yeah. So that is it. That is actually it for me. And if you have any questions, let's make this more interactive. Happy to answer anything.
Yeah, actually, I think a couple of things you said, they were pretty good. Personally, I like your story. I'm a fan of doing a lot of research about whoever I'm going to be interacting with. Some people call it stalking, but I think you have to do your research properly before you engage. And I particularly find your story interesting. But I feel like it's not the exact one that every single individual in the world can resonate with. And that's not a bad thing by any means. Everybody's path is different, especially along the lines of, your mom allowing you to take a gap year and, or, my mom, I don't think she ever allowed me to do that. I mean, she even wanted me to study, let's say, pet and gas, and I went to mechanical engineering, and she was not so happy about that at first, but, it's all well and good now, so that just kind of brings me to, a couple of things. We have spoken extensively about, market penetration, the different phases that you need to kind of take your idea through. And I like the fact that your whole platform is just impact driven because, you started from a problem that you personally resonated with and you have progressed to, all these amazing things. Now, the question I have is that, honestly speaking, like, it's not every time that, the problem that individuals want to solve personally resonates with them. You have CEOs building companies that it's not particularly their problem, but they're just, seeing the need out there. And, how do I put it? Do you feel that it's better if, the problem resonates with you generally? So if you see, let's say, another problem, and you feel like, this problem doesn't really resonate with me, but there's a market for it. Do you feel like someone will still be motivated to solve that problem if they don't personally resonate with it?
Personally, I think the best startups are those that were built out of the founders' problems, because trust me, it gets hard, it gets really, really hard. There were a lot of times, especially those first few months, where it was super hard on me. I was using what was meant to be my allowance in university. I was using it to fund a lot of stuff, If I didn't really deeply care about the problem I was solving, I would have given up, Like that's like being able to that's passion of truly caring about the problem you're solving. It gives that extra push that you need to just grind through the tough times and all that. Which is why I think if you're just starting it because you want to blow or you want cash or stuff like that, when the hard times hit you, most times people like that, they are not able to scale through.
Okay, yeah, fine. I think I agree with you, because from even people that young startup, I think I agree. Because I've interacted with, they always have this idea of if you go with impact first, it's always going to be successful. Like if you go with generally feeling like giving value to people, that it would usually work out well. I think next thing I want to just center on, as we kind of end this session, is that the age-old question of diversity and specialization. It kind of alludes to putting all your eggs in one basket. And I don't want to entirely say that you did that with class, but it's kind of sort of what you did. It worked out, as we can clearly see, but that might not always be the case for everyone. So I just like to ask, as someone, starting off in this journey or, looking into the tech space, seeing if I can do one or two things, where do you kind of draw that line, diversity, specialization, what on earth am I supposed to do?
Yeah, honestly, I would never advise anyone to do what I did. It was super reckless, and I'm just really grateful for what yeah, but I think when you're starting out, if you're working somewhere, if you're at school, don't first of all, if you're at school until you have like either you've gotten a lot of funding or you're actually making good revenue and all that, don't stop out. don't take the risk yet. And if you're at a job, also don't quit yet until you're super sure, that this is not working out and all that. So this is the only part I would say don't do what I did. It was actually really reckless. And I actually did it because I'm just that kind of person that dives headfirst into everything I do. So I got a bit lucky there in the fact that things worked out fine, because if it didn't, I would have been stranded. So yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay, I don't think I would call it luck, honestly. I feel like luck is kind of oversimplifying years of hard work and dedication.
It's oversimplifying it, but I think every success out there, there's that element of luck, and it's not a bad thing, because you only get lucky when you've already done, like, when you've done like what you're meant to do, like I got lucky because, like, I had already done all the sacrifice that was needed to be done, like building the actually, where I can say I actually got lucky was in the investors. Okay, so when we started around, the $130,000 round, we closed everything in 3 weeks. That is a ridiculously fast time for a startup, especially an African startup. And we only got one no. And actually, it went so fast because pretty much the only investor I reached out to, when we started the round, was Tola from Splits. And Tola brought in NAD, then NAD brought in Odun, then Odun, they were just going like that, and they just kept bringing themselves in. And every single person that saw class and heard about the vision and saw traction and all that, they instantly fell in love with it. So there, I got really lucky that they were able, that all this, that, like, they all knew each other and they were able to bring themselves in, because I know that it would have been much harder for me to reach out to each of them individually. But why I got lucky was because I had already done the work that was needed to be done, in terms of building the technology and getting that traction and all that, So you need, like, luck and hard work goes hand in hand, It's not just to be sitting down there, and just hoping that it works out. You need to actually do everything that is necessary to get lucky.
I think definitely you're right, because looking at it, you obviously had the killer idea. I mean, when I went to class and everything that you're trying to build, I legit thought of it like, this seems like a problem that in this 21st century should have been solved already. And it's actually crazy. Like, I looked at it and like, wow, so there's actually no other solution for this. Because I checked, I really did, and you're definitely right. There's no other platform that I could find that could actually make live learning convenient. So I think that's pretty applaudable, to be honest. That kind of pins into the next thing I have. One of the last few things I'll be asking. I don't want to take too much of your time. After this, I'll probably give it over to Ifunaya to kind of ask one or two things. So what I'd like to ask is, as you guys reaching out to people, LinkedIn is let's say it's a jungle, let's call it that. And it gets pretty hard. I won't even lie. I've gotten a bunch of opportunities through LinkedIn, normally, but I feel like a lot of people and personal friends of mine have told me this, that LinkedIn gets a bit intimidating for them. Because when you see some things that people like, God knows how many years younger than you are doing, and you kind of segue it into your life, maybe you just finish watching a show on Netflix or something, you kind of start, what am I actually doing in my life? Am I good enough to actually reach out to these people and, navigate my way through this pool of opportunities? What, just like advice for free, let's call it that, free tip will you give about navigating those waters?
Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
I said, what free tip would you give as regards navigating the waters of LinkedIn?
The what?
Navigating LinkedIn in general.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, LinkedIn is a place where everyone loves to show off. It's actually much worse than Instagram, to be honest, because there's a lot of humble brag going on LinkedIn. But I think people should start seeing LinkedIn more as a networking platform than a social media platform. Yeah, sure. People are always trying to brag and show off there on LinkedIn and all that. And even though you're saying that it should be a source of inspiration, not intimidation. So I think that's actually one way. I've never actually seen any post on LinkedIn and I'm like, oh shit, what am I doing in my life? I'm always like, oh shit, this is cool. I think I should be able to actually do this. So but you should always see it as a networking this, and one of the best tips I can give to LinkedIn, first of all, you need to work on your profile. Don't attend any LinkedIn masterclass. They're all bullshit. Let me just start with that one. Like I see people posting LinkedIn masterclasses and all that. I didn't attend any LinkedIn masterclass. Most of all these things, to be honest, are just common sense stuff that you can apply to your LinkedIn. So first of all, you need to work on your profile. Don't overtalk. And lots of time people are trying to hype themselves a lot. Then second of all, in reaching out, I think maybe I will share you. I would send the templates I used like in the early days, when I was reaching out to whether it's partners or customers. I'll send it to you so you can share it with the audience later. Yeah, in reaching out again, don't be too salesy. Don't look desperate. That is one thing I can also advise you. Never look desperate, especially when you're reaching out to these top guys, because once they smell that you're desperate, they won't answer you, because I don't know why, but they won't just answer you. Another very small tip: don't call anybody Mr. Something, Mrs. Something. Just call them by their first name. It's actually a power dynamic play, So when I got into LinkedIn, I was, I think, 16. Of course, everybody was literally older than me. I was calling them Mr. This, Mrs. This. Nobody ever answered me, But when you start calling them by their first name, in tech, like I know we have our African traditions, leave all that in their tradition. In tech, keep it professional. Don't bring all those stuff into the tech scene and all that. So yeah, those are the best ways. And also, if you're trying to pitch anything to them, whether it's for investment or whether for partnership or whatever, don't ask it in the message. Like that is one big mistake, because if you're asking in the message, okay, just imagine I'm an investor. Someone just sends me a chat. I've never seen this person before, never talked to him before, and he's asking me to put in $5,000 to $10,000 in his company. This literally happened 2 weeks ago, and I was like, you didn't even ask for a call or something. You're just asking me straight away if I want to invest in your company. I'm like, why? So the best way, is to actually ask for a call. You need to because once you can get them on a call, then you can pitch whatever you want to pitch and talk about whatever you want to talk about and create relationships. And going to my last advice, anybody you're trying to get, like if you're a startup founder now, you want to get investors. The best way to get top investors is to build relationships with them, like 3-6 months before you start raising. Okay, Tola from Spirit now, who was the first investor that I ever knew. I knew him. I knew him since last year, August. And when I was talking to him and all that, it was mainly just I was just asking him advice, tips, because I was building something else then actually, and I was always just showing him this thing, So when I now started building class, I would always be showing him the progress, and he got very interested. And December 26th, just after Christmas last year, he just called me. He was like, bro, would you be interested in raising a round early next year? I was like, yeah, sure, it sounds cool. And in early next year, the round happened. Like most times, the best advice I got from a friend was ask people for money and you will never get it, but ask for advice, and most times people would give you money. So I think those are some tips, some hacks actually you can use to use LinkedIn and power your startup or business.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan, for this. I love those hacks personally, and I can personally attest to the one as regards calling people in the tech space by their first name. I've personally witnessed it. The Yoruba son in me is always when I call, people that are 10 years older than me by their first name.
Exactly. It's such a small thing, but the impact it had on my conversations with people when I stopped calling people with Mr. or Mrs. or Sir or Madam or whatever, I just called you your first name. If you like the 90, as long as it's a professional call, business call, I call you your first name. It really helps. It really helps.
I think it kind of even removes that desperation effect because, you know, the word Sam is so overused sometimes that it kind of gets to feel like you're just sucking up to them. So it's, yeah, that's really cool. I think at this point, I would hand it over to Ifunaya. I think she might have one or two things, then we'll just round up from there with Q&A.
Sure.
All right, Ifi, over to you. Okay, I don't know why she isn't here, but we'll just proceed then. All right, so to kind of round this up, I just like to ask, okay, I think she's back. I don't know. I'm just round up. So to kind of finish up, I'd like to ask, you know, the entire audience, you know, do you guys have any last questions you would like to ask? I mean, Nathan is most likely younger than almost all of us here, and he has already done so much. So if you would like to have some tips as regards, you know, how we broke into anything or any just questions at all, you know, might even be random, you know, just feel free to type them in. And yeah, it doesn't even have to be for Nathan because I know that Victor is still on. Okay, he left. I think we're still on the call. But yeah, no problem. Any question you have, please throw it open, and so we can wrap up. And just go through the question box. Let me see. I'm not really seeing any question at this point. Okay. I think this because you kind of demystified everything because everyone is essentially speechless. All right, Nathan, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I personally understand that, you know, you made it quite clear. I will be in your DMs as regards, you know, the template. I think our entire community would benefit from that. You know, because and not everyone is even here at the moment, you know, I think the general community would really love that. Also, I would just like you to kind of give like just like parting words to like, yeah, just like parting words to the entirety of PAADC and, you know, everyone here generally before we close off.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And I think parting words really is just start, you know, like after these events, you know, like stop listening to all those talks on YouTube, stop watching video because I know like so many people, because of the fear of starting, they keep watching podcasts and videos and all that, you know, okay, and like, okay, I'll be ready, you know, like just start, you know, and no matter how shitty the start is, it can always improve. I think that is my parting words, you know. Just start and aim for the and aim big, you know, dream really big, be very ambitious, no matter what you're trying to solve. And yeah, it's gonna work out great for everyone here.
All right, thank you so much. You heard it first. Nathan said, take a book out of Nike and just start, just do it. So yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Thank you to everyone who has stayed with us on this event. I'm sure we've had a very interesting guys so far, from Victor to Dave to Nathan to Robert and tips on how to navigate the tech space with you.
I think definitely network issues there. Just a round up. Thank you guys so much for being here, for attending. We hope to see you next month for the June edition of the Nexus, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.